2014, and we are interviewing Ron Wiewel at the Adams County Courthouse, Courtroom 1A, Quincy, Illinois. Ron is 71 and a half years of age, having been born on June 21st, 1943. My name is Tracy Gilbers, and I'll be the interviewer. Rita Corson will be the court reporter for this interview. Where and when were you born?
Born in St. Mary's Hospital, Quincy, Illinois, June 21st, 1943.
Who were your parents, and were their occupations?
My parents was Albert and Mildred McClary Wiewel, and their occupation was farmers. They farmed all their lives. And dairy farm, some dairy farm, cattle, grain farmers and stuff like that. So that's where I was born, raised on the farm, and farmed.
All right. Who were your siblings, names and genders, and did any of them serve in the military?
Well, I just had one sister. Her name was Karen. And that was it. Didn't have no more brothers or sisters or nothing. And none of them served in the military but me. Dad, he got called up to go, but then he got turned down in World War II at the end of it, and that was as far as it went for him, man, so he didn't get to go either. But I'm the only one in the whole family, cousins and everything, that's served in the military. So that's all the family.
All righty. What were you doing before you entered the service?
I was a heavy equipment operator for several years, and then I worked as a machinist down at Gardner, Denver for about 12 years, and then got laid off there, and then I went back into construction work for about 22 years for Sparks and Wiewel Construction in Quincy. They went out of business, and I got a job with the highway department for the state of Illinois, and that's where I'm employed at right now. And that's about what happened.
All right. This next section has to do with early days of service. In which branch of the military did you serve, and what war did you serve in?
Served in the Army, National Guard, did a tour of duty in Vietnam. I don't know what you want from there. I mean, we just joined up in the National Guard. Half Northern got a bunch of us guys signed up in it.
Where in Vietnam were you at?
Chuai, Vietnam. That was where the main base was. But we had some other ones branched out, Duck Bowl, Queen John, different places like that. And we run convoys up to the LZs and haul supplies out to them. That's basically about what we've done, you know, to supply and service. So.
Okay. What was the highest rank you ever achieved?
Specialist, 4th class.
Can you explain what that is?
No, I don't know how you explain it. Just,
okay.
Just what the category you was in, I guess, or something that you just got a little better at it or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Did you enlist or were you drafted?
I went and signed up for the draft. Never heard nothing. So I wanted to get some military time in. So I was talking to Half Northern, who was the commander at one time. He talked about a half dozen of us joining the National Guard. So we all went and signed up, and we went to town from there.
If you enlisted, why did you choose that specific branch of the military?
I don't know. They talked us into it, I guess. I kind of like went to the Air Force or something like that, but we talked us into doing that. That's how I wound up in there.
All right. Do you recall your first days of service?
The first days?
First days of service.
Oh, gosh. That's a long time ago. I forget even what day or month it was. I went to basic training, but started out there at the National Guard unit down there on 5th Street or 4th Street. That's where we had our meeting. But I can't tell you, can't remember back that far what it was.
How did you feel when you went in? Those first few days?
No, it was kind of a funny feeling when they really activated us and stuff. But as far as going through basic, It was a good learning experience. It felt like, I don't know how you explain how you felt. Felt there's a lot different in civilian life.
Where did you get stationed for boot camp and your first training?
Fort Leonard Wood. Went through basic training at Fort Leonard Wood. Went through AIT training at Fort Leonard Wood for transportation, trucks and stuff. And then we went to summer camps. Went up to Camp McCoy, Wisconsin. Went to Tooele, Utah. And we went, the next one was Fort Carson, Colorado, for when we got activated to go overseas. I think that's the three I've been to. Four of them over there.
After training, did you get a leave? And did you go to your first assignment? After training, did you get a leave? Did you go to your first assignment?
Well, after basic, we got a 2-week leave, and then we went back to AIT training, and then we went back, assigned back to the company here in Quincy, the guard company, 126. So.
Do you recall your instructors, and if so, what were they like?
The one I can remember real well was Sergeant Putnam. I think he was in the War of Guadalcanal and stuff. You talk about a rough-looking character. And, I mean, he was all military and discipline. He was a heck of a nice guy, but you did what he said, he was all right. And we had a couple of others there, but they wasn't nothing like him. He was a super fine guy, though.
Did you receive any specialized training, and if so, what was it?
No, nothing really specialized, just sort of throw you in basic and stuff, and then training for truck driving and stuff like that. But anything more special than that, that was be about it. I mean,
okay.
Wasn't no.
How did you adapt to military life, including the physical regimen, barracks, food, and social life?
Well, I've had better food at home. It's just quite a change. I mean, you're used to running around here with civilian stuff, and you get thrown in there with all the discipline and everything else. Training, it's a different life, you know. You felt kind of, you learn one thing, keep your mouth shut, don't volunteer for nothing.
How was the physical regimen part of it when you first went in?
Well, I wasn't used to all that training like that, you know, what they put you through, but after we got doing it, well, it wasn't bad at all. It really done you good, and I liked it, really. You know, PT and all that stuff, and everything like that. It was well worth it after a while.
When you got over into Vietnam and over to Chile, how were your barracks?
Well, it was all right. I mean, it was clean enough to live in. You know? It was just a different lifestyle. Everybody all sleeping in there together and everything else.
How many men were there in a barracks?
We had 10, I think, 10 or 12. I don't know how many it was anymore, but they were just hooches, whatever they call them. And I think there was 8 or 10 guys, I think, in each hooch. Sandbags piled around the outside and everything. And basically, just different. I mean, just get used to it.
How was the food?
Well, some was pretty good. Some of them I'd rather eat sea rations. But most of the time, the cooks we had there, they were really good cooks, you know. And of course, a lot of them was from our own outfit that left here. And they was really good cooks. But there was days at times that you'd like something different. But
What kind of things did you have?
what
kind of meals?
you
You
mean as
remember
far
that?
as what we ate and stuff? I guess your base, look, I don't know, I suppose. Had our breakfast meal, and we had bacon and eggs sometimes and stuff like that. I can't remember what all we had.
Okay. What was your job or assignment while you were over there?
I was assigned to science supply, service and supply, and we loaded up and hauled supplies to the LZs, and we got supplies that come in off the LSTs that we hauled down to what they call the 2 and 4 yard or something, where you got brought all the supplies in and distributed out for the LZs, stuff like that. Can't tell you exactly everything. Can't remember everything.
All righty.
And that was about it. And then run convoys out to LZs.
Okay. This next section has to do with wartime service. Where did you serve, and do you remember arriving, and what were your thoughts?
Well, we arrived at Da Nang, and I thought, what am I doing here? And then we arrived at Da Nang. We were there for a while. Then we got shipped down to Chu Lai, and pretty well stayed in Chu Lai. And a few guys got shipped to other parts of the country, like Dak Pho, Queen Yan. I can't think of the other ones. I know when we stepped off that plane there at Da Nang, they must have had their sewer right in the front yard. It was really sour and hot and humid. Just wasn't used to that stuff. But it was different.
If you served abroad, what are some memories you have of that experience?
Just altogether different lifestyle, I guess, and a few things that kind of stick with you that you never forget too.
Okay.
And I was just lucky to be here after one night there. So I mean, we got hit with rockets and mortars, and me and a buddy were walking company guard. And when rockets hit less than 50 foot from us, as you could tell an incoming round. Now how they better hit the ground. The more we hit the ground, that sucker hit less than 50 foot from us. Like I say, if we'd have been standing up, we wouldn't be sitting here. That kind of stuck with me, and still makes you a little jumpy. But anyway, that was one close call. So otherwise,
What was the weather like there?
hot and humid and sweat like that.
When you say hot, how hot do you think it was? What do you
A
think
lot
the
of times
temperature
it's
got?
120 degrees or better, and humidity's so bad. Yeah, it was hot and humid. Rain, monsoon rains and stuff. It was just wet, humid, hot, everything else. So.
Okay. If you were on the front lines, what combat action did you witness?
Well, we wasn't actually on what's called the front lines. We just run out through the country on the convoys, and we had a few attacks there on our company area because they was surrounded sometimes. And, you know, we got fired at several times. And we had a hill behind us they called Rocket Ridge or something like that. They were shooting rockets on us all the time. And it wasn't really actual combat, but I mean, it made you stop and think, I mean, what could happen.
Okay. If you were not on the front lines, what were your duties?
We was a supply company. We hauled supplies out to the LZs, food, ammunition, fuel, and just supplies what they needed and everything. We loaded them up there at the yard and hauled them out to the LZs. And that's basically about it. I mean, individual work around the company area did, and different things there. We check stuff in, and without.
All righty. What kind of friendships and camaraderie did you form while serving, and with whom?
Well, like I say, all of us was together. We pretty well had friendship with everybody, but some of the other units was around our area. I made friends with some of them, and I can especially remember that one guy. Can't think of his name, but he was from Cincinnati, Ohio. He was a colored kid, and we got to be real good friends. And we'd always visit back and forth and everything like that. And after we left, I found out he got killed. And he was a nice guy. Yeah, that was some of the guys, like that, got pretty good friends with. Then you always met other people from other companies and everything, kind of got other friends with. So like I say, everybody in our outfit, we pretty well know each other. And everybody's pretty close friends there. I guess that's about it, except that one guy from Cincinnati. I mean, he got to be a real good friend.
Okay. How did you stay in touch with family and friends back home?
Well, mainly write letters, about all. I got a whole box of them at home, too. From family members that sent me, and friends and neighbors, and everybody wrote letters to me and stuff, and sent pictures. And, so I got a whole stack of them like that at home, and everybody wrote me.
That's nice.
And it's good to hear from them.
What did you do for recreation or when you were off duty?
Well, not a whole lot. We went to the South China Sea and went swimming. Just fooled around down there, because that's about all we did. Then, we had Bob Hope was over there that one year. We got to see him and stuff. And Ann Margaret and some of them, and Bob Hope had his tour. We had all them with him. And we had a show there that he put on and stuff, and a lot of guys from the field, out in the field, come in and see it. And we built kind of a place there to have some other entertainment come in once in a while. I don't know who the people was anymore, but they had somebody through the USO or something brought some in, and they had entertained us singing and stuff. That's about the only entertainment we had, except we went on and on, and I didn't even go on.
Were you awarded any medals or citations?
Well, just Vietnam Defense Medal, American, what they call it, American Defense Medal and stuff, and several medals for rifle, that's about it. I mean, overseas bar. It's just them two medals there, Vietnam and National Defense Medal, campaign medal.
Do you remember who gave the medals or citations to you, and was there a ceremony when you received them?
No, they just handed them out. There wasn't no big ceremony.
Okay, this next section is about the war's end and coming home. Where were you when the war ended?
You mean the total war, everything's, 72 or something? I was home, really. After the war, they pulled everybody out. I was home, working. But other than that, there wasn't such a real parade they give us when we got back home here for the Guard, But I was working when I went to work. I was working on a job when the war was ended, so.
When you left over there, how did you return home?
Well, we left July. We went down to Cameron Bay. We got on plane there, DC-8 Super they called her something. We took off from there. Flew to Japan, laid over Japan for a while. And then we flew into Fort Lewis, Washington. Went through all the process of checking out. Got the plane tickets and flew to St. Louis. and flew to Quincy.
How were you received by your family and community?
Well, family was glad to see me, and a lot of the community, a big part of them, they was happy to see you and everything, but then some people you talk to, they had a bitter aspect of it, and they act like you was a crook or something. And some of them, most of them treated you real good, but some of them was just, snotty about everything. I mean, I don't know how to explain everything.
How did you readjust to civilian life?
Oh, it took a little while to kind of get used to it again. I mean, some things you still had on your mind, and things happened and everything. But it didn't take too long. I mean, like I say, you still had thoughts of a lot of things that happened. I guess it took a little while to get on back to normal again, I guess. So.
Have you remained in contact with or reunited with fellow veterans, and if so, how?
Oh. Well, the whole company got together after everybody got back with the 126. We all got together, and everybody, just got together, I guess. Got, I don't know how to explain that. It's been a long time ago.
Have you had any reunions in the last 10 or 15 years?
Yeah, we had several reunions, and now we're meeting every 3 months. We have for everybody to get together that can make it and stuff, and but everybody's trying to get back together and see each other. And like I say, every 3 months we have a get together for everybody, and you see them then. So I guess that's how we all get together and everything.
Okay. Are you a member of any veterans organization, and if so, which ones?
I'm a life member of the VA here in Quincy. I forget what the number is. But I'm a life member in a VA there. Go to the VA hospital for stuff. Otherwise, I'm just a member, life member of the VFW.
Okay.
That's it.
What have you done since separating from the military?
As far as the job,
Mm-hmm.
well, when I first got out, I went back to run heavy equipment, which I always wanted to do, and then I wound up getting a job with Gardner Denver as a machinist for about 12 years or so. They had a big layoff, so I went back to construction. And then went to construction for about 22 years, then I got a job with the state of Illinois, the highway department, highway maintainer. And that's where I am right now.
Did you do or have something special for good luck while you were over there?
Just prayed a lot.
Did you have plenty of supplies?
Usually we was pretty well supplied, yeah. Everything's pretty well supplied, really. I mean, it was good. I guess.
I think you kind of answered this question previously, but I'm just going to ask, what was the food like?
Well, most of it was pretty good, really. I mean, there was times that things wasn't real good. The biggest 99% of the time, we had pretty good cooks, and they did a good job for what they had to work with. But it was good. I mean, you couldn't really complain about it. A lot of times you got hungry for stuff here at home, Even a good old bologna and cheese sandwich tasted good. And eat McDonald's.
Did you have any leaves while you were over there?
No, I never took no leave. I had a chance to go on R&R, and I thought, well, why leave here? You probably wouldn't want to come back. I had a chance to go to Australia, but I wish I would have now. But I didn't. I just stayed there. And go through all the foolishness of getting out and getting back. And we probably hated to come back. Anyway.
Did you travel while you were in the service at all?
So, travel, you mean
What are some, was most of the places Vietnam and Chile and all over in there? Did you go anywhere else at all? Or you were just mainly stationed
Just
over there?
mainly stayed in Vietnam.
in that area?
Traveled out to the LZs, traveled to the countryside over there. But as far as leaving there and going anywhere else, never
Okay.
went nowhere else.
This next section has to do with discharge and post-war. Do you recall the day your service ended? Where were you? I think we kind of went over that. You were here when the war ended.
Yeah,
You'd been out.
been out. I think the war ended, 72 or 73.
And when you got out, you had already fulfilled your military service, right?
Yeah, I got an honorable, got the DD-214 there, the honorable discharge from the guard and everything, so.
Were others discharged with you?
Yeah, there were several of those guys. Some of us come back a little different times, but everybody pretty well, some of them had extra time to go after they got back. I just had a few months left when I got back, before I got out, but there were some of them, they probably had another 2 or 3 years to go yet in the guard before they got out. But I was pretty well close to the end of my time when I got out, so I just stick around long.
In the days and weeks afterward, did you resume a job or start a new career?
Well, I went back to construction. Like I say, I went back to construction and running heavy equipment and stuff like that. And that's all it is, machinist and construction and stuff like that. I mean,
Did you go back to school at all?
I went to a mechanic school. Well, correspondence, because you could get a correspondence through the service, and I took a mechanics course on that. Just get a diploma from it. But other than that, I didn't go to any other kind of school or anything.
Did you use any military benefits to go to that school?
Well, they paid for that correspondence school. That's about all. It was through the VA or somewhere. Somehow, I don't know how it happened, but it didn't cost me nothing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And this next section has to do with reflections. How did your military experiences affect your life?
Well, made you appreciate what you had here at home after being over there. And it give you more discipline, made you not be a smart aleck like some of them. But it just made you more disciplined and stuff, and more appreciative of what you had at home instead of complaining about everything. But other than that, I mean, it done a person good. I don't know what to say.
Okay. What are some life lessons you learned from the military service?
Well, like, what do you mean, life?
Well, I think you kind of answered that maybe in the discipline and that type of
Well,
thing.
discipline and
You
stuff like that.
lived that your lifetime.
It made a lot of disciplinary and be on time, don't fool around. It did make me get a little more on time for stuff. But other than that, I mean, it's disciplinary and I don't know.
Okay. Excuse me. How has your military service impacted your feelings about war and the military in general?
Well, I can't really express my real feelings right now. To me, that Vietnam War was a political war, a money-making war for a bunch of people. The way I look at it, for what we could do and couldn't do. When you get shot at and had to call in and see if all right, shoot back, that ain't really a war. I mean, it just kind of makes you see how things really operate.
What message would you like to leave for future generations who will view or hear this interview?
Well, military service will do everybody good, I guess. And it's good. It'd be good for a lot of young kids to go through it and make them appreciate and learn to be disciplinary and stuff. Discipline, the way a lot more nowadays, they need it. But I mean, it would be a good thing for everybody to go through, I think.
Do you think that the kids that are in school now understand
They don't.
what happened over there?
They don't. They don't know. They got somebody telling them a bunch of stories that ain't true about a lot of it. And they really ain't telling the whole true story about a lot of things, I don't think. It's just like what's going on now, they don't tell the fact about everything. And a lot of them kids, they don't even care. I mean, they don't even know nothing about it. You try to tell them, it's whatever. Other than that, I think they need to teach more in schools and everything, actually what really happens in these wars and stuff. You know, it ain't no game. I mean, they need to learn the seriousness of stuff and what we're really fighting for, and the freedom that we're fighting for. But they don't even appreciate that anymore, I don't think.
All right, this is your last question. Is there anything you feel like we haven't discussed or should be added to this interview? And if so, what?
No, I think pretty well covered everything that what I can think of. Just hope my grandkids and that see this someday.
I hope they do too.
And the 7 grandkids, so 4 of them live out in Washington, D.C. And 3 in Quincy here, but if they ever get a chance to go to the National Archives, I went out there and went through that, looked up a lot of stuff, and it's interesting. So if they'd ever take an interest in doing it, it'd be worthwhile, you know, and all that. Other than that, I don't know. Just hope they have the freedom for the rest of their life. That's about all I can think of.
Okay.
I ain't much of a talker.
Well, you did a good job, and we appreciate you coming in. I'm going to turn off right now.